Following the success of Hercules and the Amazon women, very little time passed before another adventure with the son of Zeus arrived to syndicated television airwaves. The Universal Action Pack had become a hit, and the momentum continued to build with the second Hercules telefilm. This time, the crew based the story on the Greek myth where Hercules rescues Hesione, the daughter of the Trojan king, from being sacrificed to the god of the sea, Poseidon. With Troy being the main setting for the plot, the final cast continued the trend of actors who would later return in more prominent roles on both television shows featuring the son of Zeus and the warrior princess. Among them, Renee O'Connor as Deianira, a fiery young orphan who remembers very little about her past. Robert Trevor as Waylon, a slave who takes great pride in serving his queen. Which queen, you ask? Queen Omphale, played by Elizabeth Hawthorne. And Nathaniel Lees as the Blue Priest, who keeps a close eye on young Deianira as she moves toward her destiny. With Sorbo and Quinn reprising their roles and the dedicated crew in New Zealand ready for round 2, the stage was set for another memorable installment of the new legendary journeys. My name is Aaron, and let's get into it. This is a tale of Hercules and the Lost Kingdom. Hercules and the Lost Kingdom, written by Christian Williams and directed by Harley Coklas, premiered on the Action Pack on May 2nd, 1994. 3 running lads are on a mission to locate the son of Zeus. This one decides to take a water break, and that's where he messed up. These two acknowledge the poor lad's demise, but can ill afford to stop now. When they are almost to their destination, a giant rock is sent tumbling down after them. This runner is able to toss a scroll over to his companion before getting knocked into oblivion by the rock. A short time later, this young woman is gathering some water for her town. The ground then shakes a few times before she runs off in terror. Hey, chickens! In a pub, this guy doesn't believe her story of a giant on the loose. His tone changes when sudden jolts hit the area. But no earthquake shall prevent this man from eating his meal. Okay, maybe opening up the roof will. The giant is known as Gargan, and he's looking for Hercules. The son of Zeus reveals himself out of the hoodie when the giant threatens to kill everyone in the village. When the two meet outside, Herc does all he can to talk some sense into Gargan, but it doesn't work. Hercules must fight. But has he met his match? Zeus doesn't think so. And look at that, the king of the gods was right. Hercules grabs Gargan's weapon and delivers some clubbing blows. Timber! Zeus is so amused. Oh, the giant still isn't out? A left uppercut to the chin should do the trick. Hercules
win.
The newly crowned Slayer of Giants is offered a shrine built in his honor, but the son of Zeus declines. After all, he only wanted to finish his meal. Suddenly, the final runner collapses in this villager's arms. When Hercules meets him outside, the runner begs the son of Zeus to help his fellow townsfolk regain their city after Hera drove them out. None other than the lost city of Troy. Herc offers him a drink of water, but the runner suddenly dies, and his body disintegrates faster than you can say bones. Hera's eyes once again hover over the scene as Hercules understands the task at hand. Where do you think you're going, Zeus? The king says there's not much he can do about Hera's actions since she's the queen of the gods. Herc is not surprised by Zeus's unwillingness to help. The king then informs his son he must locate the one true compass in the kingdom of Omphale. Hercules once again asks his father to join him on this latest mission. If only I were 1,000 years younger and single. Great delivery by the late great Anthony Quinn. Behold the majesty that is New Zealand. As Hercules carries on, he comes across a shrine and a chanting group of worshippers. The leader says this is the shrine of the water god, a deity about to have this virgin maiden sacrificed in his honor. The son of Zeus is having none of this crap, noting that human sacrifices don't work. When he climbs up to free the virgin, she begs him not to interfere with the religious ceremony. Suddenly, the burning rope snaps, but Hercules saves the virgin in time. Annoyed by his actions, she points out that only a maiden at the height of her fertility can save the crops. What gives this large man the right to interfere with the virgin's destiny? Dude, he's Hercules. Who is this strange hooded fellow? Back at the shrine, the son of Zeus lets the worshippers know that the gods don't care about any of them. Don't wait, arrogate! The young virgin gleefully follows the son of Zeus as she believes his sudden appearance in her life is part of her destiny. Well, Deianira, you better keep up, and eat a little, will ya? Later that night, she reminisces about her father at a campfire, a handsome king who loved her more than anything in the world. One day, when his kingdom was threatened, he sent her away for her own protection. She has been an orphan ever since. Hercules recognizes that fairy tale. Aw, look at young Rock doze off. Sweet dreams, young Deianira. As the moon shines, Evil Dead-style camera work appears. That strange hooded fellow from earlier is seen roaming the forest, and Deianira notices him. But he's not in the mood for talking, disappearing from sight before Hercules returns. The next day, the two arrive to the Omphale border. However, these two mountains of meat are not allowing any visitors today, even if one of them has been sent by Zeus himself. Deianira verbally assaults the guards quite a bit. Look how adorable she looks holding up her fist at them. Herc has had enough of this crap. Apparently, the king of Omphale is dead, but his queen lives. She only appears once a year at the Great Slave Market, and her only public appearance happens to be today. Deianira makes her stance on slavery crystal clear and calls the guards twin half-wits. And now they have had enough of this crap. This will just take a moment, they say. And Herc agrees. Bodies fly everywhere! From now on, Hercules does the talking. As the two adventurers carry on, they are suddenly seeing double. Or is it quadruple? When the first two guards rush back toward them, the son of Zeus takes down the third guard and launches the fourth one in the air, who then clotheslines both his brothers from earlier at the same time. Great stunt. Two more? Ah, great, it's the 48 Sons of Martinus. The voice acting for these lads reminds me so much of the voice dubbing on an early Hong Kong martial art film, and I love it. Hercules grabs one of their weapons and pretends to run away. The two latest brothers then run into the weapon when he stops. This simple comedic action is great. Only 42 brothers to go. Actually no, they climb over this wall. And then they fall into a haystack mired in chickens. Behold, the kingdom of Omphale, and sweet grilled rabbits are free to eat. Wait, it's possum. Hercules smirking in this shot cracks me up. How convenient! The Queen's slave market is set to begin. And there she is, Queen Omphale herself. When Deianira asks Hercules how he plans to talk to her, he offers himself to the slave market. Ingenious! The queen bought him faster than you can say Alcmene. Look at how adorable she is in this movie. Behold, the slave known as Waylon. Robert Trevor is awesome. Hercules then tells the queen he only put himself up for sale so he can collect the one true compass and locate the lost city of Troy. She says there's plenty of time for that. But for now, the queen declares this day a holiday and reveals she paid to have Hercules for the next 1,000 days. Hey look, a fistful of dinars. The queen really did pay a lot for the son of Zeus. Deianira knocks hard on this door with a rock. Waylon is irate, since this door is over 1,000 years old. "Excuse me, eunuch!" Look at that glorious facial reaction to Deianira's latest sassy remark. It seems Hercules is unavailable for the foreseeable future, and Waylon is not a eunuch, he's a slave. What's the difference? He will tell us when she grows up. The first of many funny exchanges between O'Connor and Trevor. Nighttime comes and poor Deianira is still waiting for Hercules. A faint tribal beat then leads her to this pub where the local slaves are participating in debauchery. Waylon immediately notices Deianira at the counter and invites her over to the table. The slaves here are all pleased to work for the government. After all, they have financial security, steady work, and zero chance of being fired. The young orphan says to Tartarus with that life, they should be fighting to be free, or die trying. She also brings up a good question. What kind of a chicken is that? A small and tough one, says Waylon, because it had to make it on its own. Wow, do these two opposing viewpoints sound incredibly relevant today or what? Suddenly, party time is over. This man, Mellus, played by another recurring cast member on both shows later on, Todd Rippon, expects his protection money right now. Princess Deianira of Thessalonia stands up to the hood and hands over what the eunuchs owe him. Although she earns him a night of peace, Waylon says he'll simply want double the next time he attempts to collect. Wonderful. The next day, Hercules is eager to return to his mission. As promised, the Queen offers him full access to each of her late husband's navigational instruments. At long last, Herc has the one true compass. And all it took was some sexy time. Deianira demands one of the guards to tell Hercules she may not wait much longer if he doesn't come out now. But instead he tosses her like yesterday's news. Uh-oh, Mellus and his goons want revenge for her sass at the pub. The princess is having none of this crap, breaking herself free with some vicious shots. Way to go, you. She makes a run for it, but is eventually cornered. As she covers up for the worst, bodies fly everywhere! Hercules saves the day. Actually, it was the hooded fellow, who is quite the silent type. Deianira reveals he's been following her around since she was a kid, and she wants to know why. He finally speaks, noting that as she follows her destiny, he follows her. But what is her destiny? Great, he disappeared again. Hercules is finally ready to go. But first, Deianira has made plans for lunch. Back in the pub, it's time for Mellus to collect once again. The son of Zeus and the slave both stand up to the hood, leading to bodies flying everywhere! I never get tired of watching Hercules toss baddies through walls. Huge credit to each of the stuntmen involved in creating a ton of laughs for many of us. Waylon is eternally grateful for Hercules taking care of those pesky collectors. The two adventurers bid farewell to Waylon, and Deianira tells him to not be a slave for the rest of his life. I have no choice, he replies. Trevor's delivery here is so good. Another montage plays as Hercules and Deianira use the compass to find Troy, with the New Zealand pageantry beautifully complementing it. Seriously, these shots are really nice. At a campfire, Deianira questions whether or not she really is a goddess. Hercules says she should focus on simply being a woman instead, like his mama Alcmene. The gods do nothing but cause trouble since they grow bored with their immortality. As he questions his own mortal status, there is a noise off in the distance. In another Evil Dead style sequence, Herc soon finds who's responsible. Waylon! The slave offers the son of Zeus his services as thanks for taking out Mellus and his goons. Deianira cannot believe this man would allow himself to live this kind of life, but it's what he does, and he's good at it. Hercules comes up with the perfect solution. He orders Waylon to serve Queen Omphale for the rest of his life. Since it's what Herc really wants, the slave complies and declares they'll never see him again. The journey continues and we witness more of New Zealand's beauty from the 1990s. The one true compass brings our adventurers to a boneyard near the ocean. Deianira thinks the device is broken, but Hercules isn't so sure. As they survey the large body of water, that same hooded fellow appears again and calls for this giant blue serpent. The sea monster swallows them whole, and our two adventurers slide deep into the digestive system. I still think the serpent swimming deep in the ocean here looks really cool. Deianira believes this is part of her destiny, but she better take a closer look at their situation. No time to lose, they must find a way out. Hercules notices the serpent's giant heart and tells Deianira to hang on near the remnants of this ship. As the son of Zeus works to destroy the heart, mysterious eels slither all around the princess in another Evil Dead-like sequence. Uh-oh, dead things! Hercules disables the heart and saves Deianira from being eaten. As the dead serpent falls deeper into the aquatic abyss, our two adventurers swim their way back out from its giant mouth. Land ho! What do you know? Deianira suddenly remembers where she's from. The lost city of Troy up ahead. As they make their way to the city, Hercules senses that this is a trap. And he was right. The Deianira yo-yo, ladies and gentlemen. Suddenly, a young lad named Telamon, played by Eric Close, holds a sword at their faces. But instead of resisting, Hercules allows him to lead them to the king of Troy. It isn't long before they find a small campsite inhabited by Trojans. When Telamon brings them to the king's hut, Troy's leader recognizes Deianira. Looks like that fairy tale from earlier was true, as the king confirms he sent his daughter across the sea when Hera demanded her to be sacrificed at a young age. As a result of his defiance, the Queen of the Gods sent the Blue Priest, the same hooded fellow following Deianira around, to banish Troy's citizens from the city. And now that she has returned, her father has one last request. Lead the citizens of Troy well. The king is dead. The new Queen of Troy wastes no time in spreading the news to her people. And she is pretty, SpongeBob. Deianira declares that in the spirit of their fallen king, they shall fight to win back their city with the help of the son of Zeus. As these three survey Troy from thousands of miles away, we see the Blue Priest ordering one of his minions to prepare the sacrificial chamber. Uh-oh, an entire army with skills. Back in the woods, one of the Trojans finds a spy in the bushes. Can't go wrong with more Robert Trevor screen time. Hercules oversees the citizens practicing their combat skills and helps Deianira shoot a bullseye. Oh, the jealousy of youth. Telamon scores a bullseye himself, and Deianira is most impressed. Remember how Wayland said Hercules and Deianira would never see him again? He lied. The slave says the son of Zeus needs a good, obedient slave in his life, even if that slave is a pain in the ass. That line cracks me up every time. The new queen is happy to welcome him to her kingdom. Later that day, Hercules has a sit-down with the Trojans. It's not easy to kill, says the son of Zeus, so he recommends each of them to take a rock from the ground. A rock has no fear, so make it the weapon from within in battle. Be hard. The citizens agree to be rocks and shout for victory. In a hut, Deianira thanks Hercules for all of his help. He still expresses his doubts about their strategy, but all the new queen wants to know is why he won't look at her. She may be dead soon, so what gives? Hercules declines her wish to be kissed, not once, not twice, but thrice. I could definitely see how people would have a problem with this, but then again, all throughout this film, it's been insinuated that she's too young for him. The next day, the king of the gods stops by to chat with his son. Zeus once again fails to talk Hercules out of duking it out against Hera. The king's son asks his father to join him for once. Unless he doesn't have it anymore. But of course Zeus has still got it. The king sends a lightning bolt to the bullseye, and Deianira proudly exclaims that Zeus is on Troy's side. But great, he still refuses to fight his wife. The plan: they attack at dawn. When Herc says the battle will be bloody, the new queen tearfully says she must do something to preserve as many lives as possible. She calls for the Blue Priest. No, she's gonna give herself to Hera. The next day, nobody knows where Deianira is. Hercules sets off to personally rescue the queen, but the rest of the citizens each want to join him. When Telamon refuses to do things the coward's way, this lad remembers the cowherd's way. A secret passage into Troy that was once used to herd cows. Well, what do you know? It's behind this door. Onward! Eventually, the citizens arrive to the town square. And it's quiet. Too quiet. Hercules leaves Telamon in charge of the troops as he searches for Deianira alone. Suddenly, the doors shut and the opposing army arrives. Look at the Trojans wearing the same style of helmets that would be worn by a certain mighty one later on. A battle theme from Hercules and the Amazon women signals that this is going down. The son of Zeus then witnesses Deianira being escorted into the sacrificial chamber. Telamon battles the leader of Hera's minions, but is soon taken down. Hercules makes his way into the chamber, where Deianira is being fitted into her sacrificial dress. As the son of Zeus fights the minions, the Blue Priest summons the queen deep into the chamber. Back in the town, Waylon and the rest of the citizens each pull out their rocks. Come on, fish face, I'm not afraid of you. The brave slave throws his rock at the leader and nails him with a hammer. Suddenly, it's clear. If the Trojans stand up to Hera's minions, the minions don't exist. And with that, bodies fly everywhere! The priest says Deianira was always meant to die for Hera, and he pulls out a giant sword. At the perfect time, Hercules has had enough of Hera's crap. The son of Zeus lands vicious shots on the priest, but he is unharmed. Herc manages to disarm the priest, but he soon whips out chains from his hands like Spider-Man to tie our hero down. No more labors for you, Hercules. Deianira begs for the madness to stop before Herc whacks the priest in the head with a rock. Undeterred, he launches the blade straight at the Queen of Troy. This provides Hercules enough time to break the chains and decapitate the priest. But he isn't quite dead enough. The headless carcass is stabbed and launched with the sword all the way to Tartarus. We can hear the genesis of Xena's chakram whoosh as he flies away. While the Trojans defeat the minions one by one, Hercules reminds Deianira that her real destiny is to follow in her father's footsteps. Zeus returns and informs his son that Hera really wants this sacrifice. Suddenly, Deianira is slowly elevated to the sky. In another act of defiance against his wicked stepmother, Hercules says Hera controls the destiny of no one. One lightning bolt later, Hercules is sent flying to the heavens, to the dismay of Deianira. The king of the gods says his son's work is done here and tells the young queen to remember what Hercules said about the gods. They are indeed jealous and petty. Anthony Quinn is so awesome here. Zeus encourages her to follow her own destiny as he sends a kiss goodbye. Troy has been won back, and the citizens are ready for their new queen to rule the city. Long live Queen Deianira! This part is incredible. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, Hercules lands unharmed in the middle of a field. This elder lad alerts our hero of a fire-breathing monster on the loose. The film ends with Hercules requesting the man to lead him straight to the creature, as the wonderful Hercules theme song triumphantly plays. And that'll do it for our look back at Hercules and the Lost Kingdom. This film would only help to increase the popularity of the latest iteration of Hercules in the mid-1990s. Behind the scenes, disagreements over creative direction between Robert Tapert and Christian Williams led to this film being the final picture where Williams was involved. Despite this, because of a ruling by the Writers Guild, we would continue to see his name featured in the opening credits of each installment of Hercules for the rest of the series. As for the film itself, of course I enjoy it. Young Rock and Trevor are a blast to watch in this piece, especially when you compare how different Deianira and Waylon are to Gabrielle and Salmonius. From the beginning, these two were great together on screen, and it's no surprise they worked so well later on in the Xena series. Sorbo and Quinn are once again fantastic as Father God and Son Half God, and I really like how Hercules is slowly beginning to embrace Zeus in this one. The rest of the cast is sublime, and the fight scenes throughout the film are entertaining. It would take several months, but a third installment would eventually premiere to the delight of the ever-growing fanbase. For now, thank you all for watching, and be sure to join me when we take a look at the third film, Hercules and the Circle of Fire.